What's up, guys? Welcome into a very special edition of Kinzels Classroom here on the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Nick Kinzel.
I'm Mike Gamble.
And I'm Ian Jortson.
Boys, it is championship weekend, one of my most favorite times of the year and also one of the most saddest times of the year because then we get to sit around for the next 2 months. When's NASCAR coming back?
The most boring time of the season.
Most boring time of the year is coming up. But
hello, darkness, my old friend.
But this weekend going to be one of the most exciting because we have 12 drivers in 3 series who all deserve to be in their spots. So let's talk about the trucks here a little bit. So we got Stuart Friesen, Ross Chastain, Brett Moffitt, and Matt Crafton going for this title, and it couldn't be more deserving. All 4 of these guys. Friesen breaking through, getting some wins this year.
Yep.
Ross Chastain's story is incredible, where he didn't even run the first part of the season, and here he is competing for the title. Brett Moffitt looking to go back-to-back. This is just proving that his championship last year was not a fluke.
Right.
And then Matt Crafton on consistency. So 4 guys, 4 different paths to get here, and here we go. So I got some scenario questions. We're just going to go around. Stuart Friesen wins this championship if?
Stuart Friesen wins this championship if Ross Chastain gets a little over-aggressive, which we've seen at times. Brett Moffitt can make a mistake. And they bring another fast truck like they have at times this year. I think he can do it, but I think there's a couple things he's going to need to go his way. I don't think on straight-up raw speed he's going to be able to beat at least the top 2 guys.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Matt Crafton, there has been times where the 52 truck has been faster than the 88. I don't see that being the biggest key to the weekend, though. I think it's going to have to be a situation where one of or both of the 24 and 45 make mistakes or have issues.
Yeah, Stuart Friesen wins if Ross Chastain and Brett Moffitt, they get into some trouble, there's some pit road penalties, they just make dumb mistakes, and then, definitely, we've seen Friesen outrun Matt Crafton a lot this year. So, definitely, I think if these scenarios happen, Stuart Friesen could be holding up the championship trophy by the end of the race.
Yeah.
All right. Ross Chastain wins this championship if?
He gets a bad, fast race truck, which he's done.
Usually does on these
often.
mile and a halves.
Yeah, often at the mile and a halves. He keeps it clean, keeps it out of trouble, and qualifies well.
That's what I worry most about Ross Chastain is his aggression level. It's gotten way better as the season's gone on. He really tamed it down here in the playoffs. Didn't have too many crazy incidents. Besides Talladega, but that's just Talladega.
Talladega, you make a little mistake.
Other than that, I think Ross has really cooled it down. But this is for the championship. I expect that aggression level to be back fully for Chastain, and that could hurt him in the end.
Yeah.
Chastain wins if he stays cool, calm, collected. Just got to stay clean. Which he has been basically this entire playoff run. Yeah. So if he keeps it up like how he is, he could win this championship and beat out Brett Moffitt. So,
I agree. I agree.
Brett Moffitt wins this championship if?
Brett Moffitt wins this championship if everything goes according to plan.
Yeah.
They bring a good truck. He stays clean. I think he is by far and away the favorite for this championship. So if Brett Moffitt shows up, does what he's supposed to do, the team does what they're supposed to do, he walks away the champion. And I think that is probably, in my opinion at least, the odds-on likeliest of scenarios.
Brett Moffitt wins if he keeps doing what he's doing because he's just Mr. Perfect this season, man.
That's all he needs to do.
Yeah, he's just got to keep it cool. He'll be holding up that trophy. He'll go back-to-back with 2 different teams. So, he's
that mustache, man.
Oh, it's working for him, man.
It's the mustaches versus the short beards.
Yeah, right.
Battle of the facial hair.
Battle of the facial hair.
Yeah, right.
All right. Matt Crafton wins this championship if?
Matt Crafton wins his championship if experience is a factor, consistency is a factor, and it comes down to not making mistakes. Matt Crafton is the wily veteran of this championship 4. He's proven to always have been a calm head, cool, collected, puts his truck in positions to be successful. I think if there's somebody who's going to make a major mistake in the championship 4, you can count on it not being the 88.
Yeah.
So I think when it comes down to maybe with the exception being just raw truck speed, I think the intangibles, he's got a lot on some of these guys.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous with the raw truck speed that the 88's had all season, but if he has no issue, if they just bring him a good truck, dude, I swear to God, if this guy has an engine failure on this truck, something is going to happen.
Yes,
somebody is going
major,
to somebody is going to explode, and it's going to be Crafton.
Right.
He's going to go off.
I do think, barring that, Matt Crafton puts himself in a position to be there at the end.
I think if he just needs to be there at the end. I think if he can get a late race restart, if he can line up fourth, because really the outside is where you want to be. If he can line up fourth, or just because you don't want to line up second or third, you don't want to be on the bottom of this racetrack.
Right.
If he can get in the second row, if he's not the leader on the restart,
first or fourth on a late
restart, take it 3 wide. I think Crafton can do it.
Yeah,
This would be a very,
and he has done it.
And he has done it.
And Matt Crafton wins if he, just stays consistent like he's been all year, and if a lot of the guys in front of him have problems, because honestly, I don't see him running, outrunning, Chastain and Brett Moffitt.
It's going to be very tough.
Possibly, he can run out the 52, but no, he's got to wish that Chastain and Moffitt have problems.
All right, so at the end of the night, after 200 miles of racing, who is the 2019 Gander Outdoor Truck Series champion?
Your 2019 Gander Outdoor Truck Series champion is going to be Brett Moffitt.
2019 Truck Series champ is going to be Ross Chastain.
I am going with Ross Chastain as well. I think this kind of race is what Ross is all about. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to be aggressive. I hope he's not too aggressive to the point where he does something stupid.
Where he takes himself out,
He takes himself out and makes it tough on himself. But I really think at the end of the night, it's going to come down to that 45 and 24. And I think at the end, that 45 is going to get it.
Yeah, I think so too. All right. So
NASCAR Xfinity Series.
All right.
We have Justin Allgaier, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, and Cole Custer. So let's start with the 7 of Justin Allgaier. Justin Allgaier wins the 2019 Xfinity Series Championship if.
It's going to be a little bit like Matt Crafton. If you've looked at if you want to put the speeds of these race cars into tiers, looking at the other Championship 3, he looks to be about a tier below them in terms of raw speed and performance from his race car week in and week out. But he is the most experienced driver in the Championship 4. He is a professional driver. Mm-hmm. He often puts his car into very good situations to be there at the end. He infrequently makes mistakes. Kind of like Matt Crafton. He's going to have to hang around, put his car into good positions, and be there for a late race win or hope that one of these guys makes mistakes.
Right. Yeah, I think, if he keeps staying consistent like how he has been all season, I think, Justin Allgaier, he could win this, but I don't think
it's going to come
I don't think he's got the speed like the other guys do.
I think one of the big 3 or 2 of the big 3 are going to have issues.
Yeah.
Unless it comes down to a restart.
Right.
Restarts could be very crucial in a race like this. You get a restart with maybe 15 to go. Maybe he gambles on a pit stop or something. Maybe he stays on the race. I don't think you can stay on the racetrack with a caution with 15 to go. But maybe you just go 2 tires and gas and you go.
Yeah, I think Justin Allgaier wins this championship if he does a really, really good strategy.
If he just does what the big 3 doesn't.
Right.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have to execute on all fronts. I think we can all agree that we would all be incredibly surprised if we're sitting here next Monday taping the Homestead review show, and we're talking about how he came out and led 120 laps and absolutely dominated all 3 stages. I just don't see it happening.
No.
I think he has to execute on all the phases of the race, and I think he has to put himself in a position to have a smart strategy play, be a savvy veteran, something like that.
So Allgaier in the last 10 races here only has 2 top 10s and an average finish at 12.4, and he's only led 7 laps. So we're not going to see this guy leading a lot of laps,
Right?
Yeah.
Unless they bring him some miracle car, which I don't think is going to happen. So it's going to come down to strategy for the 7. I believe.
No doubt.
So Christopher Bell wins this championship
if he keeps doing what he's doing, man.
Exactly.
Come on, he's Mr. Perfect. We shouldn't even be discussing this. It's going to be.
Shouldn't be discussing it, but he has to have a clean race. He can't have what happened last week.
No pit penalties. Don't screw up and get a flat tire and wreck. And flat tire's not his issue, but that's the crew's issue right there.
Yep.
So
guy's got an average finish of 23rd at Homestead.
Whoa, what?
Yeah.
Well, he's only ran there like twice.
He's only run there twice, and he has not had good times in either of them. So.
Yeah.
Listen, again, kind of like for me, Moffitt going into the Truck Series.
Do what you do, man.
Seabell is your obvious choice as the champion.
Yeah.
I think even with a series where we've talked about the big three, I think he's separated himself from the big three.
Yeah.
It's him and then the other two directly on his coattails.
Oh, yeah.
I would say Christopher Bell goes to Homestead, doesn't make any mistakes, doesn't have an ISM-like performance, and he's walking away with his championship happily on his way to the 95 car next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tyler Reddick wins this championship if
Tyler Reddick wins this championship if he's willing to do the dirty deeds.
And I think we've seen that out of him this year. He is willing to do that.
Yeah.
I don't think that car is going to be put into positions where he's just going to have more raw speed than the 20. I just don't see it. I think he's going to have to be willing to door somebody. He's going to have to be willing to put somebody in precarious situations. I think he'll have a chance to be there on speed, but I'm not putting my money on that. I think
know
he's gonna.
Last year, different car, different team. He had the speed because he led over 100 laps in that race. I don't know this year though.
I don't.
We've
see
seen
that
the aggression
being the
come out
case,
of Tyler Reddick, so I agree with you there. That I think it's going to take something like Doring and Christopher Bell on a restart or something, which he's done. He's done.
He's not afraid to do it, and that's the thing, and that's why I think it could come into play. I very much so think that if this comes down to him and Christopher Bell being side by side on the back stretch of like a late race restart, he's going to do what he's got to do to win a championship, and Christopher Bell may not be happy about it, but too late for that.
Yeah, Tyler Reddick wins this race if he, stays aggressive, he doesn't let his guard down, and, he just does what he did last year.
Right.
So, yeah.
And then the 00, Cole Custer.
All right.
Cole Custer wins this championship
Cole Custer wins this championship if he does what he did in 2017 and lead 182 laps out of 200 and just dominate the whole race. So
it's gonna be tough to do.
Yeah. Well, he knows how to work this track.
All three of us know who the best car is, who's going to go in here, and who should win this championship. But, it's going to take...
You got to look out for Cole Custer at Homestead.
He's been fast.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Cole Custer wins the Xfinity Championship if Stuart Haas does a great job of bringing him a fantastic race car.
Which they always do.
Cole Custer does everything he needs to do.
No mistakes.
I think the problem is because this front... If we're going over a long haul, it's easy to say Christopher Bell, and I still think he gets it done. But with one race, it's very, very possible that any of the big three are a favorite, depending on how you're looking at it. As you said, he's shown dominance here before. So there's a very real possibility that Cole Custer gets this done and is hoisting that trophy.
Right.
So
it
all comes down to execution.
It's going to be tough because Cole Custer's had a few mistakes where he hasn't been running well. Like the Texas race was not his best race. He's had a few mistakes where he's had a couple run-ins with drivers as well. So one of them being Tyler Reddick. So I wonder if that's going to be in the back of his mind going into this race. Like, hey, man, you got me a couple races ago. Here we go. I'm going to get you back, man. This is for a title.
This one counts.
Last year, too, Cole Custer, he came in second place in Miami.
So 2 races here.
He led 95 laps, too, last year, too. So we got to look out for Cole this weekend. He's going to be the man.
This is anyone's race, but at the end of the day, your 2019 Xfinity Series champion is Christopher Bell. I'd have to say.
I think your 2019 Xfinity champion is going to be Tyler Reddick.
Wow, okay. I think the Xfinity Series champion of 2019 will be Cole Custer.
Okay, so we're all going with the big 3 driver. Let's see
who's right.
Yeah.
Because
now it's going to be Justin Allgaier.
Yeah, that's Justin Allgaier.
There's the only way we can all be wrong.
Yeah, right.
Justin Allgaier is going to be sitting like 7th in this race, and then all of a sudden the big 3 are all going to wreck on in the same incident. And Allgaier sitting and sounds like, yeah!
Just finish!
Allgaier blows a tire, Kona strike.
Oh, man.
All right. Now, Monster Energy Cup Series. This is probably the most deserving championship for, besides Logano not being in there, that I have ever seen. We've talked about it. You sometimes get these guys in here who don't really belong, but you can absolutely make a case for why all 4 of these drivers belong.
Yes, you can.
You can make a case for why all 4 of these drivers can go out and easily go win this championship.
Absolutely.
So I want to start with the 18 of Kyle Busch, because he's been kind of iffy as of late. So Kyle Busch wins the championship if.
Kyle Busch wins this championship if Kyle Busch is Kyle Busch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kyle Busch has to come back and be the most talented driver in NASCAR, the most dominant driver in the last decade. He has to come back and be Kyle Busch.
Yeah.
Him and Rodney Childers. Him and Adam Stevens have to get their car on point. That's been a very big issue for them lately.
Yeah.
Is bringing the fastest race car, which they're capable of week in and week out.
Yeah.
There's not a racetrack or a race weekend on the schedule where he's not potentially a favorite. I think he has to steer clear of the 10 car.
Yes.
We heard Eric Almirola talk earlier about I'm going to make it hell on Kyle Busch. Now, here would be the perfect time to make it hell.
Kyle
But
Busch. Yeah.
I think all odds are that Kyle Busch comes out, is Kyle Busch, and is there at the end.
Yeah, I think Kyle Busch wins this race if gets the monkey off his back and finally does what Kyle Busch does. Because, like we've been saying this throughout the whole playoffs, man, it hasn't felt like it's actually been Kyle Busch sitting in that car.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's just got to get that monkey off his back and see what he can do.
Kyle Busch's last 10 races at Homestead Miami. 1 win, 4 top 5s, 7 top 10s, and an average finish of 12.6. So yeah, we're going to have to see Kyle Busch become Kyle Busch again.
Yeah.
Correct.
All right, let's talk now. The 19, Martin Truex Jr. wins this championship if.
Martin Truex Jr. is your 2019 Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series champion if he channels the 2017 Martin Truex Jr., where they basically renamed the mile and a half the MTJ courses.
Yeah, right.
So he was absolutely dominant. I think he needs to go back to that. It's been a very ironic season, which that's all he was known for, and all you heard about was he couldn't win on the short tracks.
And
But that's all he's done this year is won on the short tracks and doesn't have the mile and a half resume quite like he did. I think he's got to flip that script. I think he needs to go back to that 1.5 MTJ that we saw a couple seasons ago.
Yeah.
I think he's got a distinct advantage because he was the first one locked in.
Yeah.
So I think him and Cole Pern have been working on that 19 car for Homestead for a couple weeks now, not really giving a about what happened the other 2 races in this round. I think they're all in on Homestead as they should be. I think he's got a distinct advantage there.
Yeah.
So
No, you said exactly what I was going to say. He's got to channel his inner 2017 self because he was the man for the mile and a half. He was just dominant, and he dominated that race in 2017 at Homestead. So, yeah, I think Truex is the champion if he does exactly what he did 2 years ago.
He won at Kentucky, I think is his only mile and a half win in this season, or
No, Kurt Busch won at Kentucky.
Kurt Busch won at Kentucky. Where has Martin Truex Jr. won on a mile and a half this year?
I do think he has one.
I think he has one, but then
Didn't he win?
he won a night race, I think.
Didn't he win Texas?
No, Denny Hamlin.
No,
won
I'm not
Texas.
sorry, not Texas.
Richmond, Dover, Charlotte.
Charlotte, okay.
He won the 600? Did he win the 600 this year?
Did he?
I think so.
Yeah, I think he did win. Yeah, May 26th. So yeah,
Wow.
that's a 600. So that's his mile and a half. He won at Sonoma as well. Truex, Vegas. He won at.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Vegas.
he won.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then he won at Richmond again,
Mm-hmm.
and then Martinsville.
So 2 mile and a half wins this season.
Yeah.
Martin Truex Jr. at this racetrack in the last 10 races has 1 win, 4 top 5s, 6 top 10s, and an average finish of 10.1. So
He's good.
He's good
Yeah,
here. He's
he's
very
good.
good here.
I'd say so.
I think if he can just channel that inner 2017, Martin Truex Jr. can run away with this thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's move on now. Number 4 car, Kevin Harvick. We've been talking a lot about Kevin Harvick in the early part of this season, saying what's happened to this guy after the year he's had last year. Turned it on, getting hot at the right time. Kevin Harvick is your 2019 champion if.
I'll give you the honors.
Kevin Harvick is a 2019 champion if he keeps doing what he's doing for the past 2-3 months that we've seen him. Ever since he won at New Hampshire, I believe was his first win this year, he has just, he flipped the switch. Everything's been going the right way for him. Now he's got 4 wins on the season. So if he just keeps staying as hot as he has been, he'll go on and win his second championship.
This stat's going to make you very happy.
Oh,
Kevin Harvick in the last 10 races here, 1 win, 7 top 5s, 10 top 10s, and an average finish of 4.5.
So, yeah, if he keeps doing what he's doing at this track, championship is all his.
Right. So we talked about in the Phoenix review, kind of leading up to this race, a lightning round question was asked about who was the best driver outside the top 4. If you don't look at that, if you're just looking at who is the best driver here besides Kyle Larson, I think it's Kevin Harvick.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Harvick is your 2019 Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series champion if he does what he does here. Just like Phoenix has been his playground at times.
Yeah.
Homestead's right on that list
Yeah.
too.
He's very good
Yes.
at this racetrack.
We've talked about, my opinion is Kyle Busch is the best driver of this generation, the most talented driver of this generation. Like him or not, as we all know,
Yeah, no,
personal feelings aside, we don't.
no disagreement there.
I will say this. If he's 1, Kevin Harvick is 1A.
Yeah.
He's right behind him
Oh, yeah.
to the point of it being almost immeasurable.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I think Kevin Harvick has to come out, have a good race, do what he does here. I think he needs to get a little help from Ford. So I think the Fords outnumber the field.
His pit crew needs to
that's
get
what I
it
was gonna say.
together.
Kevin
Right.
Harvick wins this thing if his pit crew is on their A game, and then Kevin Harvick just has to go do what Kevin Harvick usually does at this racetrack, and that's go win. So
I agree.
that leaves us down to one more driver, the number 11 FedEx Toyota of Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin has coughed up many championships before, 2010 being the most recent one. He just finds ways to lose them, and he finds ways to have terrible seasons. He is potentially on his career best season. If not, he already is. Denny Hamlin is your 2019 Monster Energy Cup Series champion. If
Denny Hamlin is your 2019 Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series champion if he gets out of his own way. Denny Hamlin, at times, has been the most dominant driver this season.
Yeah.
Look at this last weekend. There was times he had such an insurmountable lead. We're praying for cautions so that he doesn't run away with it during a snooze fest. Obviously, this is a different kind of track. But Denny Hamlin has proven that he can get it done on any kind of track this year. Chris Gabehart has been phenomenal this year. He's my pick for crew chief of the year.
Yeah.
He's been unbelievable. Now, with that being said, a lot of things can and will and have happened at Homestead Miami during the championship race.
Yeah.
Denny Hamlin seemed to have a bad luck about having those things happen to him. He needs to just execute,
Yeah.
and he'll be there.
I think Denny Hamlin is your 2019 Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series champion if he keeps doing what he has been doing this entire season, and that's just pure winning. He has been probably the most dominant driver all season long, and if he avoids what has happened to him in the past, like 2010, when all that shit happened to him. So
I think Denny is your champion, if he just doesn't cost the race by himself, doesn't cost
Right.
it for himself, because even at the Texas race earlier this season, when he got into that trouble he did, he just can't have anything go wrong, and he needs, in my opinion, I think he needs to stay away from the 22 car. They've had some run-ins this season.
Yeah.
Yes, I'd agree there.
They have a track history together. Joey Logano, he doesn't give about the championship for. He's trying to just end the year with a win. He needs to stay away from the 22 car, and he just needs to go out and execute. No mistakes. Pit crew's got to be flawless.
Yeah.
And I think Denny Hamlin could be your champion, and
Yeah.
that is why I am picking. Well, Denny Hamlin at this racetrack, last 10 races, 2 wins, 2 top 5s, 7 top 10s, and 3 poles. So watch out for him in qualifying as well. Well, qualifying's weird nowadays, so we don't really know. And he has the second best average finish out of the championship 4 drivers at the 9.6. So
It's a pretty big fall off from Harvick, though.
Yeah,
really
right.
big fall.
Almost double.
It's going to be tough to do, but all 4 of these guys are so deserving of this championship. This is probably the toughest championship 4 we have ever seen since it started.
Right.
Oh,
Back in
I'd say
2000
so.
Back in 2014. So at the end of the day, your 2019 Monster Energy Cup Series champion is...
Your 2019 Monster Energy Cup Series champion will be the 18 of Kyle Busch.
2019 Monster Energy NASCAR Cup
wondered.
Series champion will be. I mean, come on, come on! It's Kevin Harvick, guys.
And your 2019 Monster Energy Cup Series champion is finally going to be the 11 of Denny Hamlin. All of his bad luck goes away. His career best year is going to end with the title. And then who knows? What if he rides off into the sunset after that? That's just something we'll have to talk about in the offseason.
Yeah, I honestly cannot see him retiring, but that's for a different show to talk about it on.
Show.
Yeah.
All right, boys. We went through all 12 of these drivers. We got 3 very crucial, 3 very exciting races coming up this weekend. So for another edition of the Kinzels Classroom on the Stock Car Spectacle, I'm Nick Kinzel.
I'm Mike Gamble.
And I'm Ian Jortson.
Guys, please watch our stuff please like us on Twitter, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, watch our videos on YouTube. We're really excited about this weekend, so just watch our stuff.
Yep, follow us along. Thanks for watching, guys.